Are you tired of being stuck at home and craving a change of scenery? Well, get ready to pack your bags and book your tickets because Japan has lifted its strictest protocols since the COVID-19 pandemic began. Hi guys, Jeff Chinagan here, and travel is back to normal. In this video, we'll share all the latest updates on Japan's border controls, including the removal of the Visit Japan web and vaccination certificate requirements, making it easier than ever to travel to this amazing country. Well, let's take a look at some of the important travel and tourism updates. So what are you waiting for? Book your tickets now and get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. On April 29th, Japan ended its strictest protocols since COVID-19 pandemic began. With the easing of measures against the virus, travelers have been seen crowding train stations and airports, with a growing influx of foreign travelers adding to the bustle. So one major change that came with the easing of restrictions is that the Visit Japan web service is no longer required. This web service was designed to help international travelers and Japanese citizens smoothly go through the immigration and custom declaration procedures. It's a great sign that Japan is becoming more confident in its ability to manage the pandemic and is moving towards more normal travel procedures. Another significant change is that all entrants are no longer required to present certification of at least 3 COVID-19 vaccination doses or a negative coronavirus test taken within 72 hours prior to departure. Well, if you watch the previous videos, my wife actually had a PCR test or a coronavirus test prior to coming to Japan because she doesn't have the 3rd dose, and we paid $50. If you want to check that video out, I'll just link them down below. While this change coincides with the end of the Golden Week holidays, it's still a positive sign for the tourism industry, as it suggests that Japan is starting to feel more confident in its ability to manage the pandemic. However, it's important for travelers to continue to follow safety guidelines and be mindful of the impact that they could have on local communities. But I've seen people using masks, and I've seen people also that don't use masks. This is observed even in the schools that I teach. So it's just like it depends on the person if you want to use a mask or not. But if you're in a closed space like a train, 80% of the people would be using the mask. 1 out of 5 won't be using a mask. That's the real thing in Japan, because long before the coronavirus started, Japanese really wear masks just to protect themselves. Like, wearing masks is already part of the culture here in Japan. In terms of the use of masks, the Japanese Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare has provided guidelines on how to properly use masks to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Now, it's important for both locals and tourists to follow these guidelines to ensure the safety of everyone. According to Japan National Tourism Organization, the estimated number of foreign visitors rose to 1.8 million in March, equivalent to 65.8% of the level seen in March 2019 before the novel coronavirus outbreak. This is a great sign for the tourism industry, as suggests that the easing of restrictions is starting to have a positive impact. However, it's important to note that the number of tourists is still significantly lower than before the pandemic. So, there's still work to be done to fully recover. And finally, Tokyo Disney Resort has reported a significant increase in net profit as the number of visitors to the theme parks is increasing amid eased COVID-19 pandemic restrictions. Now, this is a positive sign for the tourism industry and suggests that people are starting to feel more comfortable visiting crowded places again. It's also a reminder that there are many businesses and individuals who depend on tourism for their livelihoods. So it's important to support them in a safe and responsible way. So basically, it boils down to, when you travel to Japan, you don't need a PCR test if you don't have the 3 doses. You won't be asked of the vaccination certificates, and you won't be using the Visit Japan web anymore. And I will go into detail with my previous video on that as we traveled from the Philippines to Japan. So basically, yeah, we are free now, and it's 98% back to normal. So we hope this update on Japanese COVID-19 protocols has been helpful in understanding the current situation of travelers and businesses in Japan. If you are interested in exploring more about Japan, be sure to check out other videos on my recommended destinations, travel tips, and more. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.